Hi, in this tutorial, we are just going to see how to make a panel overview image. Usually, a panel overview image is nothing but an image which has so many images which you want to include in a panel. Now, in this tutorial, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 5 images in the first row and 5 images on the second row so that I can make a panel overview which has a format something like this. For this, the first thing that you have to do is you have to gather all the images in a particular folder. Now, I'm going to use these 10 images to make a panel. The first and foremost thing, make sure that all images are of the same dimension. Now, for example, if you see this particular image is of dimension 1920 1080. But the other image here, if you find, the dimension is a little bit different. So we should make sure that all the images in this panel are of the same size. So what I'll do is, this is the one image which is not on this size. So I'm going to open this image with Photoshop, and then I can just say image size, and then I'm going to key in the required dimension. Now this is how I want to make it. Okay, it has resized. Now I will save it. Now this is step number 1. Now that I know all the images are of the required dimension, I have to create a panel. For this, I'll start with opening a new file. I'll take the first option where it says 1920 1080 300 ppi. Now that's the canvas. You can leave the canvas white or you can change the color of the canvas depending upon your preference. The next thing you will do is you will click on files, go to place embedded, and then this is the folder where I have all my images. So I'll start clicking the first image. Now when you input the image, automatically it becomes like a smart object. And here what you can find is there is a scaling option. Now one is you can scale it manually by moving like this, but I don't believe on my accuracy. So what I do is I give a common number here. Let me say 20%. And this is the size of my image. So I'll move it and I'll place it like this. Now this is my first image. And after that, press this tick button. Repeat the same process for all the images. File, place embedded, take the second image, and along the scaling here, the width has to be 20% only. And then you say, okay. Now you will find that both images are of the same size. You will also observe that when I place the image, automatically there are guidelines which are in pink color. It will tell me if the image is straight or not. So I'm going to keep it like this. Okay. Now let us do the next one. File, place embedded. The third image, again, resize it because I have chose 20% for the first image, so I'll maintain the same thing for all the images. And also you can see that the pink guideline also tells me that the gap between the first 2 images and the second and third image are 18 pixels. So this way I can maintain uniformity. I'm repeating this process again. Same 20%. Oh, sorry. Okay. And move it. And when you move along, you will see that these guidelines helps you to place the image properly. Now, I can keep repeating the same process again just to make it simple. I'm just leaving it like this. Now, the next thing that you would do is sometimes I would like to draw a border around the image and a shadow. In that case, what I do is I'll just group all these layers and then double click on the end. Then this particular layer styling window will open. And then you can say you need a shadow, or if you want a border, you can draw a border. Now I'm just trying to make a shadow here. Oh yeah, this one, drop shadow, and then you can click. Now you already see that there is a shadow for each image. Now at any point of time, you can double click on drop shadows and then you can change the angle of the shadow. You can also reduce the opacity. Let me zoom this one so that you can see what exactly is happening. Okay, zoom it. Okay, something like this. Okay, double click on drop shadow and you can reduce the spread. You can increase or decrease the size depending upon your requirement. and also the distance. So I'd like to keep something like this, and angle, I'll change the angle like this. You'll see that every time I change the angle, the shadow angle also moves. So I like to keep it like this. Okay, something like this. Now I'm happy with the shadow that it makes. Um, you can also increase the opacity or decrease the opacity depending upon your requirement. And then when you're happy, you can press OK. So these are the images. Now, at any point of time, if you want to change any of this image or if you want to include more images, again, you just repeat the same step. You'll say click on the file and then you say place embedded. And let me take one more image. Okay, and then let me say the scale is 20. And I say tick. And I need to move this image exactly on that spot, something like this. Now, now you can notice that there is no short shadow for the image that you just included. So what has to be done? You don't have to repeat the drop shadow process again. All you have to do is you just take this file layer, sorry, take this layer and put it into this group. And then automatically the shadow comes. So let me do this step again. File, place embedded. And I'll take this image. Okay, the image is there. Width 20. I got the image. I'm tracking the image. You can see the pink guidelines which are guiding me horizontally and as well as vertically. Now you saw that there is no shadow here. So what I'll do is, if you see here near the layers, what I'm doing is I'm just pulling this one and I'm putting inside the group. Okay, drag it and drop it into the group one and automatically the shadow appears. So this way you can maintain uniformity. So repeat the same process until you import all the images, all these images next to one another, and thus your panel overview is done. In case if you don't like the extra white border here, all you have to do is click on crop. So I'll clear the crop. I need this one. Okay, I'll just keep it here. I started with making a 5 images by 2, but then just to save time, I imported 4 images. Okay, so that's your panel overview image. And you can just save this file as it is, as a PSD file, or you can just go to layers and then you can say flatten image so that all the layers become one. Then you can say file, save as. You know how to do it. You can save it as JPEG file.